Typically, we think that having the fastest autofocus settings is the best option. But have you ever noticed that when you move your hands in front of your face or something and it starts to pulse around when it should be locked onto your eye? That's likely because your autofocus transition speeds are way too fast. For a shot like this, you actually want to pull those autofocus speeds way down. We're going to change the autofocus subject shift sensitivity all the way down to 1 and the autofocused transition speed also all the way down to 1. That's going to ensure that the autofocus stays locked on the subject's face without any pulsing around and looking for other focus points. And it's still going to be plenty fast enough to keep up with a shot like this. Having straight lines in your shot is ideal and it's going to come across as a lot more professional. Unfortunately, a lot of lenses have a natural distortion to them, which is going to make the lines in your shot look a bit bowed. The good news is that most Sony cameras have this lens distortion compensation setting, and when you set that to auto, that's going to straighten out the lines and compensate for any imperfections in the lens in camera before you even hit record. And with that turned on, you'll be good to go when it comes to straight lines in your frame. And from a photography perspective, have you ever noticed that when you're in burst mode, meaning you're trying to get a lot of frames per second, and after some shots, the camera's frames per second really slows down? And it typically happens when your photo settings are in uncompressed RAW, which is the highest quality. But if you switch your compression over to this lossless compressed RAW setting, which Sony claims has no deterioration of quality in contrast to something like uncompressed RAW, which is good. In that setting, when you're in those higher burst rate, higher frames per second, you can go for as long as you want to, and the buffer most likely won't fill up. And the most important part, thanks for being here. How we doing on time?